Hello and welcome to GAFF TV. I'm Carrie Armstrong and I am here with the one, the only Nottingham Forest striker himself, Dexter Blackstock. Hello, darling.
How are you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Very good, very good.
Thank you very much for inviting us up to Nottingham today to get to know you a little bit more, because of course we've seen the man, we've seen the legend behind the footballer, but we want to get to know you a bit more personally. So I've got some questions.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Shoot.
Fire away.
Fire away! I'm going to go for it. You are, of course, a striker. I'm going to go straight to what happened last year, because you've just got back. You've been playing a couple of games now, but you were out of the game for a year, weren't you?
Yeah, unfortunately I got quite a bad injury, so I had to take some time on the sidelines getting back to fitness. But thankfully I'm back now.
You are.
It was a long road, a lot of double days, a lot of long sessions, one-to-one with the physios. It just makes you appreciate the game a bit more when you're out of it, when you come back. But I'm delighted to be back now.
Well, we're delighted to see you, obviously, playing so well. Now, it must be, for me, obviously, I'm not a top athlete, don't know if you noticed, but for me, if you're injured, to see and pick up the paper every time and see, oh, you're injured, you're going to be out for a year, does that do things to you mentally? Is it harder to recover when everywhere you look, people are talking about how injured you are and how you might not make it back?
It's definitely an issue, definitely, but for me, I just broke it down into small reachable goals. It's a case of like 6-week target blocks.
Really?
Yeah, I broke it down into smaller sections, because if you keep thinking a year, it can obviously drive you a bit crazy. So I broke it down to smaller sections and just kept reaching my goals. And for me, luckily enough, the time that wasn't too slow. It went kind of quick. I went to America for 2 months to do rehab over there. It was great with me. So it worked out not too bad. It was a good rest from the game.
Now, what do you think it taught you?
I don't know really. To appreciate the actual job you're actually in. And I think that really set home. It made me become a bit more professional, because you have to be. The days were longer. It was a lot more sessions. In the morning, in the afternoon. It was the hardest year of my life, no doubt. So in that case, it was a big learning curve for me.
Definitely be back now.
Yeah, I'm
He's
back now.
back now, definitely. He's not going anywhere. So Dexter, recently in the press, of course, for us on the outside, a massive shock. Dean Windass coming forward and really bravely, I think, telling everyone, quite frankly, that he cried every day for the 2 years that he's been retired, every single day, that last week he made a serious attempt on his own life. Now, from the outside, we're all quite shocked by this and other recent events with high-profile footballers and retired footballers. But for you on the inside, was this a shock?
Not really. For me, I can see how that's quite easily possible. From the outside looking in, obviously players get paid a large sum of money, but this doesn't solve everyone's problems. You know what I mean? Everyone's got their own issues off the field, and it's a case when you're a footballer, you come into the game like 15, 16 years old, and you're just used to one way of life, and for the most of it, you're looked up to, like you're adored, and you almost live in a bubble. So when you come out of it, I guess I've never, obviously I'm still in it, but it must be a bit of a reality check and a bit of a, it must be crazy, because there's nothing else that obviously not saying everyone's going to turn to that route, but
of course,
obviously it can happen, because you're almost lost out in the real world.
But can people actually talk about this? I mean, because it is such a masculine place to be, it's such a masculine sport. Can people actually go, do you know what, I'm not coping with this, even while they're in the game, all this pressure? Can they actually turn to a colleague and say, do you know what, I don't think I can face work today, when your work is your dream job? Yeah,
well, it's difficult. There's no two ways about it, but there's many more cases than Dean Windass that I'm sure that are going on now, and like I said, players that are actually playing, I'm sure there's a few that feel like this, but whether or not you can talk to people, it's another issue. But that's where the awareness is getting raised now, and hopefully if anyone's got an issue, they should talk about it, because that's the best way to go.
Definitely. Even for people on the outside looking in, it does look like a great life. You had a year out. Going back to people being able to talk about this sort of thing, what's the one thing that you would go back and tell yourself now, you think, 1 year on, now you're definitely back in the game, now everything's sorted, what's the one piece of advice you would have given yourself, like in your darkest hour?
Just basically realised how lucky I am. Obviously, I was unfortunate with injury, but the actual position he was in is very privileged, and there's obviously millions and millions of other people that would love to be in your position. Yeah, it does come with its added pressures, and there's obviously downsides to it as well, but there's a lot of positives and a lot of good sides to it. So it's almost just like be thankful for my actual position, really.
Definitely. And speaking of which, you know, you do give back a lot. Your soccer school is something lovely. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, basically, it was an idea I had about taking a soccer school back to my old upper school in Oxford, where I grew up.
Really?
Yeah. So, and it was just for kids from age 6 to 16 in the half terms to go there and have a full day coaching from like 9 till 3 o'clock, where they can have free sessions from like qualified coaches.
Which is something presumably they can't just go out and get themselves. This is something that they couldn't afford to do in a day-to-day.
Nah. So, and then I would go down and give them, there'd be handouts like little goodie bags, and then I'd go and meet them. So yeah, it was a real good thing. It was a nice touch that it was back at my old upper school. So
was that kind of a dream?
I still knew a couple of people, a couple of teachers there. So it was a nice thing, and it you know, gave me a lot of pleasure from seeing the kids like turn out and enjoy themselves.
Because you're a dad as well.
Yeah, I'm a dad of 2. So for me, it was great to see the kids enjoying themselves.
That's wonderful. And are they showing any interest in football yet?
My little boy's starting to really show interest. He's nearly 4 now, so he's just getting to that age where he wants his football. So
nice. You're going to push for that then?
I'm going to push for it.
Excellent. Do you know, Dexter, what should we, because he's really back in the game now, because you've got so much to look forward to, what should we be looking out for you in 2012?
Oh, well.
Everything, not
goals.
just on the... Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, goals
is
one thing. I just stay fit, you know. You take it a bit for granted, your health. Well, I did anyway, because I came into the game and never really had any real injuries. So I almost take that for granted. And now it's a case of looking after yourself and making sure you're on top of it, really.
Did you ever have a minute of doubt that you wouldn't get back on the field?
No, I didn't. No, not at all. Obviously, my injury came with some doubts, but in myself, I knew that I could come back at the same level, if not better.
I like that very, very much. Do you know what, Dexter? It's been an absolute privilege. From GAFF TV, from Nottingham Forest, thank you very much.
Thank you.